Okay, so the 7th episode of Season 2 of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch just dropped. Let's get into it. Before I do, please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and as I'm discussing the episode, please comment below and let me know what you think. Now, the last episode was all a build-up to this episode, The Dig. Finally, they're going to bring in heavy machinery to dig on the ranch, because that is historically the thing that stirs up activity and that people are the most scared about. But it seems like it's the best way to get some answers because you can actually stimulate that activity and then study it. So the last episode was all a big build-up to making the decision ultimately after 2 seasons or season and a half to dig. And they do. They decide to dig on the ranch. So I was very excited about this episode. I have read about Skinwalker Ranch. I've seen the documentaries and the presentations by George Knapp. Skinwalker Ranch is the Twilight Zone on Earth, the real-life Twilight Zone. In studying Skinwalker Ranch, what information there is available on it is what got me interested in the broader aspects of the paranormal. From ghosts to cryptids to portals, you name it. It all happened at Skinwalker Ranch. And it's what convinced me there was a connection between the various aspects of the paranormal, because they all happen there. If they all happen in the same place, there has to be a connection. But what is that connection? So anyway, they dig. The Shermans had told them not to dig at a certain place where there was a big boulder. So, of course, the first thing they do is they dig up the big boulder, and then they dig up a big hole under the boulder. They don't find much, but there is a weird symbol on the underside of the boulder that looks like a thunderbird, which apparently is something the Navajo used to inscribe as some sort of symbol of protection. They find that, and they proceed to dig under the boulder. Travis says something that I think is the most hilarious thing that has been said on the show so far. He says, "We need to poke that sucker as much as possible." Poking the bear. I mean, I know that's the way to get results, or a possible way to get results. When they, push the phenomenon, it pushes back. Of course, there have been injuries associated with that and some scary events. So I really appreciate the courage it takes to poke the phenomenon at Skinwalker Ranch. I don't know if I would have the courage to do that, but I'm glad Travis and the others do. But of course, there's nothing under the rock. They bring in huge machines to dig in the area of the triangle, but apparently there is a lot of water under there, and they don't get very far. There appears to be running water, possibly some sort of underground river, as had been theorized in a previous episode. One of the possible reasons for the weird magnetism of the ranch is flowing water that is magnetized. Now, I'm not a scientist. I may be saying that wrong, so please correct me in the comments below. They also dig in the spot where the cow died and where the cows have been avoiding, and they find that it is weirdly magnetized or possibly electrified in a way that's influencing metal. They dig a deeper hole in the triangle. They're able to find a dry spot, and they dig. They go down to 100 feet, which is as deep as has ever been dug at Skinwalker Ranch, according to what we know. Of course, who knows what Bass and Nids and the Bigelow people in OSAP, who knows what they did. A lot of that is still classified, but as far as we know, this is as deep as has been dug at the ranch. They get a weird energy reading as they're digging, and this is similar to the strange energy spike they found a few episodes back that caused Travis to have to go into the silo and Thomas Winterton to leave the ranch. What does this mean? Is this an intelligent response from the intelligence behind the phenomenon? Or is this just some unconscious response that is triggered, or even some natural phenomenon? I have a hard time believing it's a natural phenomenon because it only targeted Travis and Thomas, two people who had been directly affected by the phenomenon before. So it was striking at people it had already stricken at. Meanwhile, while Travis is on a patrol, he finds weird magnetic readings, and they do further readings in different places and find that the readings are all pointing toward the drill. Travis says the drill is having an effect on the electromagnetic field of the ranch. What does that mean? No clue. They drill to about 100 feet, I think a little bit more than 100 feet, in the area of the triangle. And at the bottom of that 100 feet is this weird black substance. At first they think it's gilsonite, which I had never heard of, but it's actually not. They analyze the substance and find that it's strontium and barium, both of which have radioactive isotopes. The substance is also very conductive. Travis says the substance is the first physical evidence they've been able to find that something unnatural is going on at the ranch. Of course, they've found many other things that are weird at the ranch, but this is the first physical thing that they can actually analyze. So that's about it for this episode. There really wasn't a whole lot of interest in this episode. It's basically just watching people dig for 45 minutes. But, you know, they're digging at Skinwalker Ranch, which is inherently interesting itself. Not much was produced from the dig except weird readings, weird energy readings and magnetic readings, this weird black substance 100 feet down. But, of course, they ended on the teaser of what are the ramifications of the digging going to be. Is the phenomenon going to strike back as it has before? Tune in next time. The next time actually looks pretty interesting. The trailer for the next episode, they've got weird Tesla coils that may be left over from the Tesla miniseries that Travis was a part of, and which was a very good series. A reality show investigating Nikola Tesla. Very interesting and informative, with some great speculation about what Tesla may have been up to. I definitely recommend tracking that down and watching it. Very entertaining and exciting. So these coils may be left over from that. Who knows? At any rate, they're bringing out some giant Tesla coils, or at least one, and using that on the ranch to see if the ground is conductive. There also appears to be a strange UFO in the sky in the next episode. So hopefully the next episode will be a little bit more exciting. This one was exciting in that we get to see them digging on the ranch aggressively, which is exciting by itself. But of course, we are dependent on the phenomenon or the intelligence behind the phenomenon to actually do something on camera or to the participants so that we can see what happens. It's interesting, at one point in the episode when Travis and the security guy are going out into the field, Travis says, let's go out into the field and see what we can trigger. So he is willing to use himself as bait to trigger the phenomenon, which actually makes me feel a little bit better about them using the cows as bait. Of course, they say they're not using the cows as bait, but they're using the cows as bait. However, they are willing to use themselves as bait. And to me, that makes a difference. Okay, that's about it for this episode. If you've enjoyed this breakdown of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, please give it a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Comment below, let me know what you think. Should they keep digging? What should their next line of inquiry be? What do you think that weird energy spike was? Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, please consider hitting the subscribe button, and if you do, the bell next to it to be notified of future videos. Until next time, Cosmic Road out.